right, so here we are. Inside this video, I want to cover how important it is to do research on our competitors before we ever get started, ever with running any type of ads online. It is not in your best interest and nobody's business to be running ads if you haven't done research first. We need to figure out what is working before we even spend our first penny on paid advertising. And in order to do that, we just want to research what other people are doing. This is the best and fastest way to, really dive deep into what type of ads you should be running. And, very quickly, I do that with Facebook Ads Library. Now, I'll link to this below, but you can just Google search it, Facebook Ads Library, and then, of course, it's the first link. We're also going to be looking at another one called SpyFu. That's just spyfu.com. This is another way to advertise some of you, or to research some of your competitors. Now, here's the thing. In order to try to figure out, what ads are working and which ads are not working, it would be very wise to research the competition. This could be in the United States, it could be in a different country, it could be in a very small local area. But chances are, if you are, let's just say, running a local business, you don't have to just dive all the way down to your specific local area for that matter. I would probably just run this in the United States, and then we can select add all ads right here, all ads. And then essentially what we can do here is just type in any keyword that we want. So, just enter your niche in. If you are a spa, just type in spa or massage or barber or, pressure washer, dentist, doctor. I mean, you get the idea, whatever niche you're in. If you're selling a digital product, let's just say, you can also do that as well. You can just type in whatever digital product you're selling, or maybe you're selling a course or something like that. But guys, what I'm trying to tell you is this is how you want to start. Most of the time you're going to be spending before we hop into all the fun stuff, you want to research what other people are doing. Once again, we can, I'm going to show you here in a second, but we want to filter down by ads that have been running for a very long time. If we can find the ads that have been running for a very long time in our niche, in our industry, then guess what? We know those ads are working. How do we know they're working? Well, no one's spending money, no one's wasting money for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years on ads that have been running that long. No one's spending that kind of money if they're not making some money back on it, right? If they're not profitable on those ads, they would have shut them off a long time ago, okay? So let me show you what I mean here. And again, it's very important to do this before we hop into all the fun stuff. I just want to make that very solid and very clear here. So we'll get to all the fun stuff in a second, but let's just find out in our industry what is running and what is working for our specific niche. So if you have to pause the video and go jump into the Facebook Ads Library, I'll link below here, but try this. You have to not just try this, but you have to do this before you hop into any type of advertising at all. Okay, enough said. So let's just try a couple things out. You can see that I've ran this for a few different niches here, but let's just be easy here. Let's type in about landscaping. Okay, let's see what we have. So this is going to load up now all of the ads that are running in the United States for landscaping. Some of these ads are active. Some of these ads are going to be inactive. I don't know why this is taking so long to load, but there we go. So as you can see, the very first thing that I want to point out is these are active, okay? See how it says active right there? Okay, so there are 9,800 results. Awesome, that's a lot of results. But what we want to do is we want to actually filter this down to ads that have been running for a very long time. You'll notice that, at the time of this recording, today is October 28th, okay? Not to date this video or anything, but today is October 28th. So these ads just started running today. We don't know if these ads are good or not, though, because they just started them today. What we want to do is we want to come over here to the filter button, okay? So when you click on filters on the right-hand side, and then if you scroll down, first off, we want to make sure that active ads are selected. And then we want to basically filter by a date here. Now, I'm just going to point out right away, these dates, it's very confusing. Everyone gets confused here because Facebook, they always have to make things confusing. So from and to. So whatever date or whatever time you're watching this video, just go back 6 months to 12 months, okay? So what we want to do, like I usually just use, I mean, we're already in October. I'm just going to use January or yeah, let's use January. So I'm going to do 1/1/24, right? So 2024. Oh, hold on. Yeah, okay. So January 1st, 2024. That was, you know, a while ago. That was at the beginning of this year. We're in October. And then we want, this is where everyone like goofs it. They usually go to like today's date, and we don't want that. We just want that month. We're just looking at a snapshot of January 1st to say January 31st. So we'll just do January. I usually just do 30 because I don't know, like 30, 31 days, whatever. So there you go. Now, a lot of people get confused here. Once again, January 1st to January 30th. What we're looking at is, so this is basically when we hit this filter button right here, these are active ads. They must be on between January 1st and January 30th, but they still, since we're filtering this, they must still be on to today's date. This is where everyone gets confused. So go like 6 months, 12 months back, select like January 1st or whatever is 6 months to 12 months ago, and then make sure that they're active. And you're gonna see here, once I hit apply, this might take a second. So it's going to filter all the ads out, and now you can see that these are active, okay? So, you know, as you know, we filtered everything down now, but these ads started running January 30th, 2024, and they're still active today. That's the point I'm trying to make here. I'm trying to drive that home with you guys. Now, this is really cool because we can look at ads that have been running now since January. And once again, it's end of October. It's like pretty much Halloween right now. So they've been running for a very long time. If they've been running for a very long time, we know that these ads are working because no one's going to be spending money on ads that have been running for 10 months if they're not getting the results that they want, if they're not profitable, if they're not, you know, if they're not making money off this, they would have shut them off a long, long time ago. Okay? So now that that's all out of the way, hopefully you're following along with me here, but we want to look at these ads and really study them, okay? I really want you to study them. I understand you're not in landscaping. We're going to run a couple different niches and a couple different industries here. So as we scroll down here, let's just take a peek at the results that we have. So this very first one, we can look at this one, right? So this is some kind of land care place. So land care, a full service landscaping company that specializes in property maintenance, lawn care, landscaping, design, installation, walkways, patios, and pretty much anything else that your yard needs. Now, I read that out because I want you to get in the habit of actually reading the copy. Don't just blaze through this and look at all the pictures and be like, yay, like look at all these cute and pretty pictures. Like actually read them. These are ads that are working. You need to study these ads. Do not skip on this. Do not just breeze through this. This is the most important part of the entire training. We want to find stuff that already is working so we can build our business around that, right? So we your business is obviously different than a lot of these, but we want to essentially craft our ads around what is already working, okay? So just have that in mind when you're looking through some of these. So this one's pretty good. The copy is quite short. We can definitely dress this up a little bit. But this kind of brings me to the very first thing that I want to talk about in this video, and that is selecting different angles, okay? We should start our Facebook ads, or any ads for that matter, with at least 3 different angles. Now, what are angles, Craig? Okay, so I can look at this one, and they're essentially talking about everything. They're talking about property maintenance. They're talking about lawn care, landscaping design. They're talking about installation, like all these things, right? This is kind of like a catch-all ad. It's just an ad, it's an ad by a landscaping company that's just kind of like squishing everything into like one thing here. And I wouldn't say that's the best way to do it necessarily, but clearly it's been working for them. It's been running since January 30th, and it's still running to today. So it's been running for well over 10 months. So it might be something to look into. Same thing with the image. It's your turn to have a beautiful yard. And it's like this really wild looking flower. Definitely not stock. We'll talk about that in a bit here in this video. But this is like a pretty unique image. Like it's very attention grabbing. It's very bright. It's a bright blue flower. Like flowers aren't usually like this blue and purple and this teal. Like that looks really cool, right? And if you're into landscaping, this picture probably is going to capture your attention, right? So that being said, This ad right here is like, we could say that their angle is they're just kind of like, it's like a catch-all ad. Like they're just kind of going after like all these different things. They're going after maintenance and lawn care and landscaping design and installation, like all these things, right? So if you're in the landscaping industry, for example, you might want to make an ad that's somewhat similar to this, right? That actually it's like a catch-all. It talks about everything, okay? That might be angle number 1, okay? So angle number 2, we want something totally different than this, okay? So angle number 1 might be like our catch-all type of ad where we talk about everything. But in the next ad, we want to be maybe more specific. We might want to talk about like just one thing that we do. Maybe if it's landscaping, maybe it's just property maintenance, okay? So we would just, in ad number 2, talk about all property maintenance type things. The copy. So this copy should only then talk about property maintenance, and the picture should resemble something about property maintenance. So if it's property maintenance, it might be commercial, like if you're doing this for like a Chick-fil-A or a McDonald's or something, like landscaping for them. Or if it's residential, like for example, you're just doing landscaping for people's like private homes or something like that. Okay, so that would be and that's actually might be your third angle. One might be for just residential. One might be for commercial, right? So those are different angles. Do you understand? Like, hopefully you guys understand what I'm saying here. So we can kind of like move on. Let's just try to find maybe like a second angle. So Eden Land, and this is actually the same ad. So what are they talking about here? So it looks like it's the same copy, but you notice like it's this funny picture. Like look at how weird this is, right? I want you to pick up on this and like be like, what I'm trying to really push here is be like extremely overly 1,000% like overly what am I trying to say here? Like, just be very observant, right? Be very observant of the copy and then the picture, okay? This picture, like, you don't, like, it's, like, it doesn't even make any sense. It's like a block and, like whatever's going on here. They're doing that on purpose. They're doing that because it basically adds curiosity to the picture. When you're flying through your Facebook feed and you're looking at pictures of grandma doing backflips in the pool and goldfish and cats and dogs and like whatever you guys are doing on Facebook, and you come across like this weird picture of this block or something, well, it might not necessarily appear like interesting to anyone that, let's just say, doesn't own a home. But if you own a home and you might be looking for landscaping, or maybe you just put in some new block, or maybe you just redid your driveway, or you're having a home built and you like, maybe like you like the style or something like that, this might draw attention to you. So that's what they're doing. They're drawing attention to only people that specifically might be interested in like a block that looks this way. So that's what's happening in this picture. Same thing with something a little bit more obvious, like this one over here, where it's like a full-blown like backyard, like patio style setup, right? It's very beautiful and has, it just looks really good, right? So you could have something like that as well. But keep in mind, look at the two different images here. One is like really ugly and what the heck is going on here? This is silly. And then this one is like your standard, like very beautiful patio. Now, most people, obviously, that are going to be running ads that don't necessarily, they're not media buyers. They don't know necessarily like the ins and outs of running good, ad images for that matter. They are all going to probably be running something like this. And that's great. You should have one of these in your arsenal. But also, these weird images work really well too. So just keep that in mind when you're running your ads. We'll get to another niche here in a second. We can do like a different industry in a second. I just want to explain the basics so you guys understand what I'm looking for as a media buyer when I am launching client ads. So angle 1 might be like this catch-all style ad that we have, right? So he's just talking about everything. Ad number 2 might be, we're talking about a specific type of block. Maybe it's marble, or maybe it's like like stucco or something like that, right? That might be like, angle number 2. And then like angle number 3 might be something like this, where it's, more of like a backyard patio, and you could just talk about like backyard patios. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's 1, 2, and 3. So we have 3 different angles, because when we run these ads, guys, we have no idea which one's going to hit the best, right? So we want to run 3 different angles that are totally opposite. And that's the key. We want them totally opposite. Later on, when we find out which angle of these 3 are working, that's when we can start honing in on just that one specific angle. So if we run the catch-all ad, the stucco or the marble or whatever, like this type of block, and then we run the backyard patio ad, well, let's just say that, everyone's clicking on the backyard patio ad and that's where you're getting all your book calls from and your free estimates from. Well, then we want to shut these off. We don't want to run these anymore. And we want to run the backyard patio ads, okay? Or whatever angle that you guys come up with, okay? And then what we do, and then we'll talk more about this inside of the actual ad videos, but once we know that this one is working and the patio one is getting all the clicks and all the emojis and the hearts and the book calls, well, then what we want to do is we want to create 3 more ads that are just about backyard patios, right? Because we know that's what our audience is looking for, okay? So hopefully that makes sense. We want to start with 3 different angles that are totally like opposite of each other. A catch-all, a block, and then like backyard patios, right? And then we essentially run those ads. And then we go from there. We're like, okay, the patio did well. Let's make 3 more of those. And then, this style of block maybe wasn't the one that did well, but it was actually like the darker block. Or maybe it was the lighter, let's just say it was a lighter block without a fire pit. And it was just like, they didn't have like this wood fence or something, or this deck in there. You never know what it is. But we essentially then are basically making our ads better and better and better as we're running them. And that's how you can become profitable while running your ads, okay? So we're going to switch the niche here in a second, but one other thing that I want to talk about is when you're going through this, don't just read the copy, look at the image like we just talked about, see what they're putting in the image, but then also look at the headline. I know it's silly. They put the headline on the bottom. I don't know why they call it a headline, but it's how they do it. So this is going to, if you click on this, it'll go open up like a chat. They're doing like, Messenger, and they must have like an appointment setter or something like that. But this one is essentially landscaping, real estate, construction. Okay, so just 3, those are 3 angles, right? Landscaping is one, real estate's one, and construction is one. It's like a catch-all ad. Okay, this one, these aren't great examples, so let's just kind of move on down here. And guys, I hope this video isn't boring for you. Like, I know the research makes everything work. Like if you get this thing right, like if you get this one thing right, everything becomes easier. Like your landing page is so much easier to make. Everything goes faster because you know already what's working and what isn't working. And then when you turn your ads on, you can be confident that your ads are going to do well because it's based on research. It's based on ads that already have been running, and they've been running for a long time, right? So, that's why I put so much time into, like this one specific video. And it's a boring video. I know you want to probably get to work and launch your ads and make this thing go, but you want to find out which ads are working, which ones aren't first, okay? So let's look at a couple more here. This one's great. Like this one caught my eye immediately. Like, you see this nice path here, but there's like this chair here. It looks like an amateur image, right? It looks like a contractor just took this picture and posted it on Facebook. I love this because it's not a stock image. Like this right here, this kind of looks like a stock image. We don't want stock images. People fly right by it. Like you do it too, I do it. We do it without even knowing what we're doing. We're just flying by like, yep, this looks like a fake photo. Like people can't relate. Like think about that for a second. People cannot relate to stock photography, like something like this maybe, or maybe even like this. They can't relate to it because they don't, that's not like the plants that they would put into their yard, or maybe like no way could it ever look that good in my yard. Like there's all these like beliefs that you have to like essentially get past in order to get people to believe that their yard could actually look that way, right? I hope that makes sense. So this looks really good because it just looks like a regular everyday picture. These do really well. Same thing with this. Like you see, these earth movers over here, or these guys with these caterpillars or whatever they're doing here. They're building up this, retention wall or something like that. But this is a great one too, because this is essentially just showing like, you have the equipment that you're skilled at what you can actually do what you're saying that you can do. It's not like just like maybe like a mom and pop company. This place actually has all the big equipment and everything. But really dive deep into the image here. So I like this image. I like this image. This one's pretty good. We don't necessarily know what's going on, but obviously I know that we're looking at landscaping, so I know to look for the landscaping. But if you're flying through on Facebook, looking at cat pictures once again, you're probably not going to like put two and two together. You're just like, hey, this is just someone's yard. Like, so what? Like, you're just going to fly right by it. Whereas maybe, this one catches your eye because you're going to be doing some kind of renovating. Maybe this one catches your eye because it's like, what is this house? Like, oh, I like the path or whatever it is, right? Looking at some other ones here. Interesting plants we have. These guys do hardscaping and landscaping. Like we could just go through this all day. These are like mock-ups. Clearly it looks like a mock-up here. You could run something like this, but I don't think that these mock-up styles are going to do as well as, something, believe it or not, like this or like this. And that's just because it grabs attention. People are flying through Facebook. We need to immediately stop them in their tracks, like immediately, so that they, essentially either click or they read through a copy to find out more. So let's just see here. This one kind of looks almost stock. It's a very, beautiful home. Enough said, like maybe people could relate to this if they own nicer homes like this, if you're, let's just say, targeting people in like really nice neighborhoods. But we have to be careful with these images because we could lose customers that have, homes that aren't as, this pretty, for example. And, maybe, that is our target market. If our target market is like only expensive, big, beautiful homes with a castle in the background, yeah, then show an image like this. But this would also kind of cut out all the people that say don't have homes, this big, right? So you might be losing out on them. So be careful when you run pictures like that. So hopefully this is making sense, guys. Hang with me here. We're going to try some other niches here in a second. I just want to kind of go over the basics. Another thing to look at too, I should have mentioned this from the top. See how they're all images? Most of these are not videos. That should tell you something. Like if we only saw videos, you might want to test videos right away as well. Usually I say go with images. I have more on this in a minute here, and we'll talk more on this. But usually you want to start with images because first off, they're very fast to make. You don't have to shoot a whole video and then edit it and do all this stuff, or hire an expensive production company or anything like that. We can test our angles very, very quickly with images, right? And then from those images, then we could make videos if we wanted to, or hire a company, or just Fiverr it or something like that. But that being said, I always, 100% of the time, I always start with images first because I want to find out which angle is working the best. Okay, so coming down here, let's look for a couple more. This one looks kind of cool. It's just like a blank driveway, but this might catch somebody's attention. If they're doing like a fancy driveway and they're like, wow, like this thing in the middle here, that looks pretty cool. This north, south, east, west thing, that looks pretty cool. But let's switch the niche here. Is there anything else that I can find that? Oh, and then I might as well point this out too. These guys are kind of doing it. It's always good too to have a little bit of credibility in your ad, or if you have any awards that you've won, or if you have any certifications or anything like that. These guys put this Google 5-star. Now, this doesn't really tell me that this is like a 5-star company because it's just so bland and boring. What you could do is have an image in here and then drop in screenshots of maybe people that have already reviewed you, right? That would be a much better way of doing this. Instead of just putting Google, like you got to back it up. Okay. Or you could talk about it in the copy. So, don't just do that. That's, kind of it doesn't do anything. It actually kind of looks spammy almost. And this guy only has not even a sentence in there. Okay. What else? Anything else in here? And then, these are kind of like the ad style ads, like ad ads, right? Where it's just like, you show a picture of something and then it's maybe like the business name or like whatever they're trying to sell. Okay. So you could do that as well. But a lot of these are like, this one's really good. Like, what's this guy doing just standing here? And it just catches my attention. He's putting in some kind of like drainage or pole or something like that. This one, like all these guys working on a fence or something like that. So, these grab attention, and that's really what I'm trying to break down here. They grab attention. They get people from not watching cat videos anymore to actually grabbing their attention. Like, hey, I own a home and like, I want to, do some renovation or something like that. Right now, The next thing I do want to talk about here, let's find a good one. Let's see. I won't say that these are the best of the best. There's not a lot of copy that they're doing on here. So let's try to find one, because what I want to do is I want to open it up and see what they're doing on the other page, right? So I don't know. We could just do this one. This is like outdoor design. So, oh, and these are like send message. So let's actually find one that has like a learn more button. So this one's learn more, fireplace writing. Let's see. We had some good ones, I think, up top. We could do this one maybe. So learn more. So what we can further do now is click on this thing. So here, okay. So what we have here is a website. That's what we have here. So when you click on the ad, it takes a person here. And a person has to like read through all this. That's fine and dandy. But first off, there are exit links, a follow us button. So if you're running ads, we definitely do not want to send people back to Facebook or a different social profile or by any means, right? It is short. I like that. We do have three, possibly three, lawn maintenance, garden maintenance, additional service. So that's good. I definitely like that. How they're these are angles, guys. So what we've been talking about in this entire video. So they do lawn maintenance, they do garden maintenance, and then they do like their additional services, and they list them here. So I like that. But if I click more, yeah, I mean it's short, so I do like that. But a couple things here. These tabs on the top, this is like your traditional website, so people can get lost in here. We actually want this all on a single page. We want to make this binary, as we've talked about in previous videos. Same thing with like the email address. Like if we have an email address or a phone number listed, they're not going to take any action. We generally want them to take an action, like book a call or schedule an appointment or, get a free estimate, something like that. And we want to run them through like a little mini funnel to where we can collect that email address, where we can collect, let's say get them scheduled on our calendar, book an appointment or check out and maybe buy something from us if possible. So, this one isn't the worst I've ever seen, but there's just, we want to get rid of all these buttons, and we want reviews too. We want to put reviews on here on the front page. We want any certifications that we have, why we're the best, why we're better than the guy across the street, what sets us apart, what makes us different, right? We want to have a compelling offer here that pushes people to, I just noticed the button here, request free estimate, right? So what happens? It just goes to email. Okay. It just goes to email. So unfortunately, who do you think is clicking? Again, let's back up. You're flying through Facebook. We're looking at cat pictures. Grandma just did a backflip on a trampoline. It was amazing. And then you are like, oh, wow, this landscaping thing. We're thinking about doing landscaping. And you go here and you click on this button and it opens up, hey, just send us an email for a quote. No one on earth is going to just type out an email and send an email like, oh, hey, blah, 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 blah. No one's going to do that. No, like you have 3 to 5 seconds on this page to impress somebody and they're out. That's why the page, once again, has to be binary. We've talked about this before. No follow links, no exit links, no confusing banners or, links on the top here. Do you want this offer? Are you interested in this? And we'll talk more about this as things go on, but we need an offer. We need to get people interested in whatever we're offering, right? And we need them to take an action, okay? So again, I don't want to elaborate too much on this, but the point I'm making is you can see what other people are doing, right? And that's the whole goal of this video. We're researching and trying to find out what competitors are doing, what people, if they are selling something very similar to us, how are they doing it? Which is really, really great that it's been running that long. And if it's been running that long, then we know it's a profitable ad. This ad is doing very well for them. So let's look at the copy. Local landscapers. Greenview Landscape is a complete professional landscaping service with a wide range of experience from large commercial properties or small custom jobs. Greenview Landscape provides with a wide range of expert services, including lawn care design, maintenance, and installation. All right. I won't do these little hashtags. They're probably running this on, they're running this on Instagram. So that's probably why they have these hashtags. I usually leave these out. You could put a phone number in. That's not the end of the world. But so this is, I mean, it's decent copy. It's a little bit shorter than I'd like. But this again, we're gathering ideas for when we actually write our own ads and also create the images. These images, again, it just looks like some simple, like very simple pictures, probably of a project. They have a carousel here, which just means that you can basically go through these different images, right? And then when you click on it, it just goes to the same page, right? Little spinny things are kind of strange, but when you click on it, not only are we gathering information from for our own product on how they write their copy, but we also get to know like what type of images are working. Again, these images must be working well for them. I keep clicking on it on accident. And when we click on the ad, then we know also what type of page to look for. See how I have to give them some credit because this page is super, super simple. If they got rid of, this would convert so much higher if they got rid of the follow us, they got rid of the email. You could leave the phone number on there. If they would just add a survey, just like essentially, like we're going to talk about, in future videos here of, just a simple survey asking people questions like, hey, do you own a home or do you rent? Well, if you rent, you probably aren't looking for landscaping services, and basically filter people out and then have them either book a call or, schedule like a free estimate where somebody comes out to their house, whatever it may be. This would do exceptionally well if we just made some changes to this. But you get to see what a competitor is doing, right? So you want a page that looks somewhat similar to this, right? And I have, we have plenty of templates, guys, so don't get spooked. Like you don't have to build any of this, but look at how simple it is. You could literally run a page with, what? They have 3 images plus this one, right? And a little slider. You don't even have you can get fancy if you want, but it's like 4 images and some copy. Like they do lawn maintenance, they do garden maintenance, and they have additional services that are listed right here, okay? That is it. We have a survey then where they can come and book a call or get a free estimate. You run an ad, right? An ad is just the copy, an image, and then that goes to a landing page, an ad that is made, or a landing page, or specifically a page after the ad that is created and crafted for paid traffic. And that's exactly what this is doing. That's why, like I talk about so long in other videos, that we don't run them to your ads to websites or God forbid Amazon or any other goofy places. We always want to run them to a landing page, right? So we got the information we needed. We have some interesting copy here that might work well for us. We have some interesting images to think about and like what kind of images we should be showing in our ad. And then also we broke down the different angles that we might be going with as well. Like on the top here, we had like a catch-all angle. We had like maybe we're doing like weird black or stone. And then this one was like a backyard, right? So those are like 3 different angles we could use. The next step, again, is we want to click around on some of these, right? We want to, like we clicked on that one already. Click on another one here. Send a message, call. So a lot of these are send a message, and that's just because they either have an appointment setter or they want to get back to them at a later time. This is great if you have somebody 24/7 that's just hanging out waiting for messages to come in, like a sales guy. But if you don't have a sales guy, I wouldn't recommend running this, or somebody that is like dedicated 24/7, or a team that's dedicated 24/7, so that the second a message comes in, that somebody can respond to it. Because if we don't respond to them right away, we're just going to lose them, and then we're wasting money on ads. So I don't usually run it that way. It's much better for it to be a little bit more self-serve, where they fill out a survey and then they book on your calendar. That's way better, and it's a much higher quality lead too, because like it's an appointment. So we could go through this all day. I was trying to find maybe like another page. Foundation repair. Let's just see what foundation repair looks like. Oh, so this one is a fancy pants site. So this looks much, much better. I like it. And they do have some links on top, which I don't like. The phone numbers in the top, I like that. Here we go. So now, right, you see above the fold, before we can even scroll, we have a testimonial. Very good. We have a big green button. We'll look at that in a second. Here are the different angles. They do this pier system, pier and beam. They do the drainage system. They do the crawl spaces. Boom, 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 boom. very fast. In 2 seconds, I know if this is for me or not. These guys are doing a good job. These guys are doing a good job. A little bit of copy that we have here. So it's just essentially talking about the service. We have a nice video here. I'm not going to play it, but you get the idea. This is just a video probably talking about the work. It's 50 seconds long. We have the call again. Like they're going for the call again. So they really want that somebody to call. We have that free consultation button. This is perfect, guys. This is perfect. This is what we want our page to look like. Very similar to this, right? What else do we have? They have a form here. I wouldn't usually recommend a form on this because we want to vet people first. We want to make sure that they're qualified for us. We don't want it the other way around. We don't want people that, we don't want 100 people to fill this thing out and then no one to no one to be qualified. We want to run them to a survey, which is, what we talk about in other videos. But I'm glad we found this one. Foundation peering system, beam foundation. There's almost like too much information, I'd say, on this. This is too much. I would actually get rid of some. There's just too much. We want people to make a split-second decision and take a single action. There's multiple things going on. Like they could call, they can fill out that form, they can click this button. There's learn more with there's a lot going on this page. I mean, it might be working for them, but let's see what happens when we click the button. Oh, so when we click the button, it shoots down to this form. So that's how they're doing it. They want us to fill this form out. It's okay to do it that way. Again, we want people to be qualified before they get on our calendar. It's just everything is better. It's a much, much higher quality lead. So we want them to book on our calendar after answering some questions. People could be filling this out. And let's just say, think of it this way, guys. These are only for homeowners. Very clear that only homeowners want a foundation system put in or to make their house not fall in a hole or something like that, or a sinkhole, whatever this is. But let's just say that somebody fills this out and they live in an apartment right now and they plan on moving to Florida where there's a bunch of sinkholes and stuff like that, but they're not going to be doing that for like 8 months down the road. So they're just kind of like researching. We don't want people researching necessarily like that 8 months from now that might be moving to Florida, that might, like all these anomalies that kind of like come into play. There could be so many different situations. We want people that are ready to buy within a couple weeks, right? A couple days, couple weeks. They're interested. They need you to come and visit their home to see like if their foundation is good, and you can give them a quote and test their foundation or like whatever you're doing, right? So that's essentially what we want. But I do like the page for the most part. It lays out different things like that we talk about in upcoming videos here that are really good, and I like the angles here. And if you are, let's just say, in the foundation industry, right? Like if you're doing something similar to this, these might be very good, very good angles for you to be running. They're running them, and they've been running their ad. Where is it? Since December 7th of 2023, over a year ago. Well, about a year ago, right? And it's still active. It's still running today, right? This one's obviously making them money. It's obviously working. No one's spending money on an ad for a year if it's not making them money. So that's pretty much what we want the ad to look like. There is more copy. Your home's foundation is like a silent superhero. Ooh, good copy. It's critical for keeping everything safe and sound, but what if this hero starts showing signs of distress? So, they're kind of pulling it into a story. I like that. Inside your home, cracks and walls. So these are the kind of the things that they're doing. Physical cracks, like basically they're pushing some pain. It's trying to relate to you. Maybe you have some of these problems. Take action now. I like that. Too many emojis, I'd say. Like they're kind of overdoing that with the emojis, but this is good. And, if you just ran something very similar to this, if you're in the foundation industry, don't rip them off, don't copy them, but something very similar to this with an image that looks, maybe something like this is very stock looking. I think you could improve it better, but I have an idea that something bad is going on underneath this house. So, maybe, it's not the worst image. And then we take them to a page like this, where the only thing they can do, so these links actually just scroll down. I like it. If you click on any of the links, it just takes them right to it. This is a one-page lander, which is very similar to what we're going to be building. this is a great page. This is a great page, and I'm sure it's doing very, very well. Or you can click this button to call, and then it tries to call them. Perfect. The only thing that I would switch up on here is putting a survey in front to make sure that our leads are actually qualified. Guys, this video, I say it every time, these videos get way too long. Last thing I want to talk about are let's just go over a couple quick niches here. And I just want to, niches and industries, let's just try another one real quick. We could do spa. Wait for this thing to load. The same rules apply. If we're looking for, like there's weight loss program, like all these different things that we could be looking at. Our filters though, there's 50,000. If I type in spa, there's 50,000 results. That's a lot. So we need to filter this down. Active ads once again. And then we want to put in previous dates. So I'm going to do, once again, January of 2024. And then to January 30th of 2024. Remember, this is 6 to 12 months in the past. All right. So this was, for me right now, it's about 10, 11 months ago. So now we're going to see ads that are still running to this day that originally started all the way back in January, which is what we're getting. See how it says active and then it says January 30th. So spa now, this one is, I don't know why all these weird things are popping up. These are not really, so it's like creams and all kinds of things. I suppose we could try like massage, like massage studio or something like that. Hopefully I don't have to, I have to redo the filters and all that. I don't want to do that because this video is already getting long. But as you can see, so this is like yoga and massage, right? So you can very clearly see, they have the copy here. So this is decent amount of copy, which is really good. You could read through this, of course. We have a woman with she has some back pain of some sort, and then she's sitting in a chair, and you're supposed to read this message, right? So I just want you to pay attention to what the copy is. Actually read this out. If you're in this industry, read the copy. Make sure, and then look at the image that they're showing. Do something similar to that. That's all you have to do. Find 3 different angles that are totally opposite and go with it, okay? Now, I didn't filter this out. Make sure you filter this out. This has been running recently, so we don't know if this is like the good one or not, right? But that's all you have to do. Go through it, find, 3 different angles. One might be, neuromuscular massage. One might be a Swedish massage. One might be sports massage, right? 3 different angles. One might be yoga. One might be massage. One might be pain or back pain. Be careful with saying the word pain, though. Don't say pain, the word pain in your ads. We'll talk a little bit more about things you can and can't say in ads. What else? These are massage therapists doing their thing. So in the facials, right? So that would be like another angle, right? Like come in for a 20% off your facial. You could do coupons too. We talk all about coupons inside of the Couponing Nighter 2.0, where you could just run coupons too. And essentially right on the ad, you could just say, hey, come in for 20% off, a facial, or we're running a deal for Father's Day and, or a couples massage, bring in your significant other and we'll give you, it's buy one, get one free. If you bring in your husband in, he'll get a free massage, and, you just pay for the first one or something like that, right? Whatever it may be. We could click on some of these here. Let's just see. Again, I want you to, go through this, actually read through this. So, read through the copy, make sure it's been running for a while. And then after that, click on the Learn More button and see what they're doing. So this is Hand and Stone. This is if Hand and Stone, they're, a large massage therapy studio, if you want, what am I trying to say? Franchise. So this is clearly a landing page. Look what they're doing. Now this is a great example, guys. I'm glad we ran into this. So if you go to handandstone.com, it's very pretty, right? If you go to handandstone.com, it's like this big, full-blown website with all the information and everything. It looks really pretty, right? This does not look pretty, right? This is just a white background, the logo on the top, and some copy and a form to book, right? See how it's even the big guys are doing this, right? So I want you to realize this. You do not want to be pretty off the ad. This is a page designed for ads. That's what we want. That's what we want. So when you're building your page, I want you to keep in mind, like, look at how ugly this is. There's like red text and like these arrow things. Like, look at how silly this is. They're not using fancy pictures and making it all pretty and, like the massage, like a massage website. They try to make it all like fancy and pretty, just like any other website, I suppose. But this is built for an ad. They're going straight for the first name, last name, email, phone. So what's going to happen here? Claim my discount offer. So I didn't even read any of this. This is the headline. The Neverskin facial treatment is a painless, non-surgical solution to clear, tighter, and more vibrant skin. You gotta be careful with the word painless, Hannah Stone. You gotta be careful with that word. So that's what it is. So this is like the big thing, that they're the big promise, and then they're backing up the promise. There's nothing, limited time, introductory, special offer. So like they're offering, if you fill this out, you're gonna get this special offer, but we should be telling them what the offer is. That's kind of losing it there. I don't know if they're actually gonna break that down or not, but if it's $20 off, tell them it's $20 off. We'll get into more of that later on, but we're researching, guys, and that's what this whole, again, I want to bring it back to this. The whole point of this video is that we are researching what other people are doing. Like, we wouldn't have found this, right? If we wouldn't have clicked on the more, like, if we wouldn't have searched for this, we wouldn't have been able to find which ads are working, which ones aren't. When we click on the more, on the learn more button, now we can actually see what they're running, and it's Hannah Stone. They're probably spending like millions a month. They have a millions a month budget, no doubt. So these guys, they're doing something right here. Obviously, they're doing something right. Okay. So they got this like little video that auto plays. They're showing the actual location. So maybe like this is just one of this is the actual franchise location. So this guy gets ads. They have this video going on. What else? 30%. Okay, so here it is. They offer 30% off. These are before and after pictures. Again, you got to be very careful with this in the health and wellness industry. You should not do before and after pictures in the health and wellness industry. Look it up. There's a compliant issue here. What else? Frequently asked questions. That's it. And when you click on it, sure enough, they want your first name, last name, email address, phone number. And what's going to happen here? I mean, you could fill this out and run through and see what happens. That would be the best thing to do. But obviously, probably what's going on here is that they're going to have a salesperson call you and try to sell you more stuff, right? That's just how it goes. So what did we learn today? Let me wrap this video up. Again, I could go all day, with typing in more and more niches, or industries. But essentially what we discovered today is Facebook ads library. And we use Facebook ads library so that we can find ads that have already been running for 6 months, 12 months, 3 years, so on. The second part is we need to find 3 different angles, right? Angle 1, if we're a barber, maybe it's, barber for me is probably a little bit trickier. Like, I don't know if it's for it's like kids cuts versus men's cuts versus women's cuts, right? These are obviously 3 different angles, right? If you want hair that has these little goofy things in it, or like if that's your thing, then you might want to be showing that versus I don't know if you're like a sports like barber and it's like all sports themed, right? You might want to go with that. If it's just for kids, you might want to go with that. It's just for women, you might just want to go with that, right? So the next thing would be picking your angle. And then after you find your 3 angles, put them, write them down. Make sure you write them down so that when you're making your ads, which is coming up in the next videos, we know which ads to actually create, right? And we'll go over that in a second. So what else? And this guy, you can run like Halloween specials or, whatever special that you want to, obviously. But, you could test this. I usually save the specials for my email address. So just run the regular ads. Like if you're a barber or something, get the people on your email address. And then when Halloween comes up, then send them emails on the Halloween theme. If you run ads on a Halloween theme, then you can only run them for so long, like a couple weeks or something. And if they start doing well, then you have to shut them off because it's not Halloween anymore. So just, be sure you don't do that. So again, pick your 3 angles or more if you choose to. Read through the copy, see which ones are working, which ones aren't, and then actually click on the on the Learn More button, right? On the Learn More button to take a peek at their page, to see what they're running, see what their page looks like. What are they talking about? Are they, you'll find more angles. This one is just about facials, clearly. They're only talking about on this never skin facial. That's all that's on the page. This is an angle, guys. This is an angle, right? You could run one angle on this page. You could run your 3 angles if you choose to. We're going to talk more about that in a second, okay? Or in our next upcoming videos. So that's pretty much, for the most part, at the end of this video. There's one last quick thing I wanted to show you, which is SpyFu. I could turn this into 2 videos, but I'm just going to give you a really quick run through on this. SpyFu is how you can type in anyone's website and just spy on them, right? So, like for example, Han & Stone. This is handandstone.bookings.com. I'm just going to grab like the root. So just Han & Stone, just for this example. So we'll do handandstone.com. Hopefully that's their website. I'm going to type handandstone.com, hit enter. This is spyfu.com. And this is free. This is all free. So it's pretty cool. You can see where their traffic is coming from. Han & Stone is a very, very big, franchise, right? So they're heavily invested into, obviously, paid and organic. Organic because they've been around for so long, right? So they're naturally ranking in the search engines. Here's the competition. It'll tell you, like, if you type in your website or like somebody down the road, you can essentially see what how they're running their traffic, right? You can also see all their competitors right here and who, is trying to beat them in the organic side of things. I think that you might have to pay. Do you have to pay for paid? I don't know if you have to pay for it. So here's some Google ads, right? And you could get some ideas from their Google ads and then also run them on Facebook as well, right? You just have to essentially craft them to keep them similar to what the research you're finding here, because this is actually on Facebook. But if you're going through this and you come up with some new ideas here, that's the whole point, right? So you can see their Google ads here, what they're spending, how much they're spending, the click-through rates, that sort of thing, right? And these are just these aren't dead perfect numbers, but this will give you an idea. These are not exact numbers by any means. Some of their inbound links for SEO purposes and yada yada. So I just kind of wanted to show you this real quick at the end here. It's just another tool for your arsenal called SpyFu, and it's free. Guys, I hope this video has, first off, it's been way too long, and we always run into this issue, but I hope you got a lot of value out of this. I like to elaborate really in depth on this stuff just because I don't want you to miss a single thing. I want you to have success with this. And, if you research the crap out of your competition and just take a peek at who's running ads and finding which ads have been running for a long time, selecting 3 angles, everything is easier. Everything becomes easier because the ads now, you know exactly what to do for your ads. You just, you're going to use pictures and copy very, very similar to this. You know what the page is going to look like because we just want a page very, very similar to this. And I have all the templates and everything to put all this together. So it's not like you have to build this, build this whole thing from scratch. No, you're just going to swap out my images, put in your images, and then you'll have an offer to literally, rock and roll with ads in just a matter of hours from getting the thing set up. It does not take long to set these things up. We just want to get the dang thing up so that we can start, getting people coming into our business. We can make all the changes and we can play around with the colors and all that stuff later. We just want people coming into our business right away, and that's the whole goal of this. All right? Hope you guys found this video not only entertaining, hopefully it wasn't too boring, but this is the research behind everything that we're going to be doing in the upcoming videos. So now that we know our angles, we know the type of ads that are running, the ads that have been running for a long time, we now know how to craft our offer. So let's hop into the next video and get started.